Well, hi, friends. It's Mindy Audlin on a What If Wednesday. It is fantastic to connect with you. As always, this is our day to connect, to share ideas, to share your wins, to share your goals, your challenges, your dreams, and to what if up with each other. To what if up, to create what if positive, uplifting, elevating possibilities for getting from where you are to where you want to be. Maybe getting over something, getting through something, getting around something. Maybe it's climbing to that summit, that place you always wanted to be. Let's do that together. So I'm thrilled to have you here. This week, I want to check in about our conversation from last week. So last week, a magical genie appeared inside of our Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, join it. Like right now, just go there. It's facebook.com/group/what if up. Go and hit join. Just do it. Trust me. So last week, a magical genie appeared in our community and deposited $5 million into your bank account. Can you imagine? What if? And the question was, what are you going to do with it? So imagine a magical genie plops $5 million into your bank account right now. What are you going to do with it? And so I've been reading through everybody's comments and, I posted my own as well. And I'm just so inspired and inspired is really the word. I'm blown away by the generosity of people, by your vision, by your dreams, and also like what I'm learning by reading the things that you posted. So thank you to everybody who participated and really got into the vibe and the flow of, okay, let's get this money piece out of the way. What happens when money is not the reason why you're not doing what you want to do? Can you imagine that? Take the money piece out of the way and see what's there. So for those of you who wrote, I know a lot of you wrote a lot of things. What I'm going to encourage you to do is what my mentor and my friend Joe Vitale invited us to do when he gave us this exercise at the beginning of the year. I wrote down, these are the things I would do with my $5 million. And very much like many of you, the first things that I had were, I just want to create that ongoing financial stability, financial security. So what most of us said is first thing is we're going to pay off the debt. We're going to pay off the mortgages. We're going to get to where we don't owe anybody anything. That was a pretty universal thing. So what I love about this idea of having $5 million is for most of us, that's going to pay off the mortgage. For most of us, that's going to pay off the credit cards. So the idea with this is, if you had enough money that if you could wipe out all of that debt and your mortgage, whether it's a good investment, or it's just like credit cards that are eating you alive, whatever it is, imagine that that's not there. And then what do you do? And that's really where the fun comes in. So what I saw in our community, and I've got it in front of me here so that I can share some of these because it was really interesting. One, how many things we all had in common, and two, in the areas where we have differences to really see how perhaps your calling, your purpose is embedded into this answer in terms of if money is not stopping you, what would you do? What Joe said to us after we did our exercise, and I shared, like, these are all the things I would do with my $5 million. The next question was, what are some of those things that you could do now? What are some of those things that you don't have to wait until you have $5 million in the bank? What if you could do some of those now? And the amazing thing is, as I look back halfway through the year, I am blown away by how many of those things have shown up in this year for me so far. So I hope the same for you. So beyond the basics. So Diana Kennedy, I love you with such a big heart. My first million went to covering my tithes, and she listed all the places where she would send her tithes to be a blessing to others, paying off debt. I love that. So many of you said, first thing I want to do is I would tithe. And tithing comes off the top, right? So tithing, if you're not familiar with the practice, it is an incredible incredibly powerful spiritual practice of giving a tenth of everything that comes to you, giving it back into the world to do good. And for some people, that tithe goes to their church. For some people, that tithe goes to where they are spiritually nourished. For some people, that tithe goes to a mission that they support. For instance, for those of you who tithe to the What If Up Club and our mission to transform lives by spreading hope and building connection and inspiring positive change. So maybe that's a mission that you want to give your financial abundance to see that grow and expand. So that's the idea behind tithing, is you're feeding the things that you want to see in the world. You're feeding them financial resources to help them grow. And the beautiful thing about that is when you do that, then it's a better world for everybody, which includes you. So the more we give, the better our communities are, the stronger our communities are, the better the world is because of our gifts. So that came up for a lot of people. And I would say same for me. It's like off the top, let's put that into the community, into causes and organizations that we believe in, that lift us up. So that's something you could do right now. What if for every dime you find on the ground, you give a penny to something you believe in? What if you don't need $5 million to do that? In fact, what if doing it now is kind of the secret to getting it to grow into more? All right. So I also, many people say pay off the debt, pay off the debt. So let's just imagine that part is done. Now what do we do? Now what do we do? And I saw all kinds of things, like for Diana, she's going to Italy, trip to Italy. Who wants to go with? Hello, I would love to. Let's see. Laura says making sure that herself and her family was secure. That financial security is really important for a lot of us. What if we don't need to have $5 million to have that, though? What if there are things we could start doing today that would create that financial security for ourselves and for our family in the future? So I'm not having the answer to that. I'm having the possibility of that. If you have ideas on how to do that, post it in the comments. All right. Investing in real estate to provide affordable housing in my community where housing is way too expensive. What if you use that $5 million to make sure that everyone in your community could afford a safe and wonderful place to live? What if we made communities and housing accessible and affordable for people? And what if the people who live there were engaged, had ownership in it? What if we create housing co-ops? Possibilities. LaMay, I'd love to see you as well. So after she gets through all the, paying off the mortgage types of things, buying a house with land and space to garden and have animals. Again, that might be something you look at doing sooner rather than later. Maybe you could do that. Help my son buy a home with land for him to grow vegetables and gardens and things like that. That sounds fabulous. Education, help my daughter buy a home. So lots of getting people into homes, investing in startups. That's one of the ones that I have. Wouldn't it be fun if I had that much money to just invest in? I would love to invest in women-owned businesses and invest in green technologies. What would you invest in? And what if we could start doing that, even if it's just a little bit? Start doing that right now. Invest in college funds, travel to exotic places, buy a grand piano, get a dog, get swimming lessons for my grandchildren, self-growth retreats, learn new languages, see the redwood forests, visit Alaska, buy a kayak, take art classes, become tech savvy, take a waterfall tour in North Carolina. All of these, I tell you, if you want to get into an abundance mindset, go into our community and read what our community is putting out there. What would you do with those funds? And then what if, for those of you who submitted something, what if you took one of those things, see Niagara Falls? And what if you pick one thing this year that you would commit to doing? Getting 2 massages a week. What if you start with 1 massage a month, 1 massage a quarter? I mean, if that's really on your list, what if you pick something and you do it as a gift to yourself, but more than that, you do it as a reminder of the abundance that you already have. We don't need a magic genie. What if the magic is us? What if the magic is our imagination? What if the magic is the desire and the belief that that desire is possible? What if it's that belief that opens the door to the opportunities? And what if it doesn't look like a $5 million plant into our Facebook and into our bank account? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But what if uh, what it looks like is way more subtle and way easier? Off to see the Northern Lights. New phone. Ha ha ha. So let's see what else. New Zealand cruises. Abraham Hicks cruise, road trip across America, African safari, hanging out with like-minded people all around the world. Well, what if you could do that as a What If Up ambassador? What if you could do that? And it creates the financial abundance that allows all the other things to happen. Donate where I can, buy a house. What else? A big fancy van to travel in. I love it. Betty says, oh, all kinds of things. Buy myself a first floor condo in a lovely neighborhood. Eco-friendly car, safe car, investments, trip to Ireland and Scotland. That's on my list also. I would hire a quality team. Can you imagine? What if you had a fabulous team to work on things with you? And from there, be aware of my own self-care and all the ways I can use my money for good, perhaps starting a foundation for my own cause. So here's the takeaway that I have with as I'm reading through all of these. One is that many of the things on your list, you probably don't need $5 million to do. Many of the things on your list, you could just choose to do one and let that one fill you with a sense of abundance and prosperity that could attract 2 and 3 and 4. What if the things that you're waiting for, if you're waiting to have all these other things in place and then you're going to do the self-care, what if the self-care comes first? What if using your money for good and that philanthropic desire that we have and that wanting to tithe and to give, what if we put that part first? And what if some of the things that we put first actually put us into the consciousness of the abundance that we can imagine? And what if that consciousness of abundance is actually the consciousness that will attract all these things to us? And I will tell you, it's amazing how it happens. When I wrote down my list of what I would do with my $5 million at the beginning of the year, it seemed quite pie in the sky. And yet, thanks to some grants, some opportunities that showed up at the right place, right time, the stars lining up, I don't know what it is, but I look at that list now and I can check multiple things off that list. Pretty exciting. What if you can too? So if you haven't already, go into the community and post, what would you do with your $5 million? And if you've already posted it, take a look at it and see, what can you learn from it? What can you do now? And what would it be like if you were to step into the consciousness of knowing that that abundance is yours? What if we could be the prosperous, abundant, in the flow person that is congruent with all the things that you put into that vibrational escrow? So thanks for joining me today for What If Wednesday. I always love connecting with you. If you have any ideas, possibilities, what ifs, pop them into the comments so that you can contribute to what we're doing here. If you have friends you want to invite into the club, send them to whatifitallgoesright.org or whatifitallgoesright.com or whatifup.org, or just send them here to our Facebook group and let's get connected. Let's share some hope and some possibility as we enjoy these long summer days. Wishing you joy and abundance. And isn't that what prosperity is? Happiness, joy, living your purpose, being fulfilled. Wishing that all for you. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.